Basara Tojo has received a really unpleasant surprise from his father. 10 years after he had once told him he wanted a sister, his father Jin tells him that he had fulfilled his wish. At an age where Basara Tojo would probably have preferred a PlayStation, Jin hands him a sister. Frustrated, Jin goes to the bathroom and stumbles upon a half-clothed girl. This anime lacks a lot of proper locking systems for doors, and also, why is the girl in a boy's bathroom? Disregarding all logic, the girl stands up and slaps some sense into Basara. Basara returns back to his seat, only to realize that the girl, Mio, was his new sister alongside another chibi one, Maria. The two girls were now going to live alongside them for the rest of their lives. Basara decides not to care too much about this. After all, in this day and age, people do get remarried a lot. However, there is one thing that's off. Jin's supposed second wife is nowhere around. The girls claim that their mom has gone on a business trip, and Jin seems to believe it all too easily. The whole family then starts living together like a real family. However, the girls can't seem to stop seducing Basara for no apparent reason. They probably saw our Kiss Sis recap and had their mind set on stupidity. Everything is super uncomfortable for Basara. The girls wearing sussy outfits or waking him up by climbing onto him in, well, a really sus way. All of this happens in front of Jin as well, but the man doesn't seem to care. Despite their differences, however, Basara fulfills his duty as a brother and even saves Mio from some goons who try to flirt with her on the street. He takes her to his favorite location and shows her around, promising that their relationship would soon be better with time. That night, however, Jin has to leave on some business trip, although he's a freelancer, and that leaves Basara as the only grown-up at home. He goes to tell the girls about this new development, but the whole house's lights are turned off, and Mio and Marie are sitting down menacingly in the living room. As soon as Basara reaches there, Marie floats in the air and strikes him with a magic spell. These two girls were demons. Mio was a demon lord to be precise, and Marie was her accomplice. The little girl explains how they were going to use Basara's home as their base now and threaten him to leave. Turns out, Basara's dad's whole marriage was a scam, and all that the girls had done was alter the man's memories. The poor man was a simp, but only in his imagination. The girls command Basara to leave immediately, or they would erase his memory as well. Basara has no intention to leave his home and stand still, so Marie chants up a huge memory erasing spell, but, surprise surprise, it doesn't work. In an absolute plot twist, turns out Basara is an exiled member of the Hero Clan and with extremely great powers. He negates the demon's magic and pulls an Uno reverse on them and commands them to get the hell out of his home instead. Basara then calls his dad to check if he is okay, and turns out Jin was never affected by the magic at all. He was trying to help Mio and Marie. Mio was the daughter of a demon lord who brought peace among all races, but the demon lord was recently killed and passed down his rule and power to his daughter. However, since she was still small, she could not use her powers, and her subordinates would no longer listen to her, which is why she was also in danger. It was necessary that Mio was safe so that the peace of the world was kept intact. Mio and Marie, on the other hand, head to the same location where Basara took Mio earlier and are attacked by the demons sent to assassinate them. At first, the two girls are a match with the demons, but are soon overpowered. Luckily for them, they are the protagonists, and so Basara comes to their rescue and saves them. He tells them that, regardless of everything, they were still family, and so he had come to take them back. Mio and Marie are extremely apologetic for the way they had tried to hijack the house earlier, and are even more thankful to Basara for accepting them back into the family. Regardless of this though, the girls are still sussy all the way, and all the bathroom locks in the house still don't seem to work. Basara once more stumbles into a half-naked Mio. Life has returned back to normal, and this time, Basara has decided that he will do everything to protect Mio. Later that night, Marie suggests that Basara form a slave and master relationship with Mio so that he can actually truly save Mio wherever she is. At first, Marie tells them that Basara would be the slave, but when the ritual begins, the demon girl switches the roles, and Mio is made the slave while Basara becomes her master. Now, it would have been fine if this was any normal master-servant curse, but this was no ordinary curse. Here, if the slave disobeys the master, they will be put in an endless cycle of extreme pleasure. Yes, the kind of pleasure that you guys are imagining. So, every time Mio disobeys even a simple request from Basara, her insides will vibrate like a truck on Gear 1 until Basara himself goes ahead and pleasures her. This happens at the very beginning as well. As soon as the curse is placed, Mio defies Basara's command, and Basara has to do some extremely demonetized actions, which we cannot show here, to calm her down. One thing is good though, as long as the slave does things out of concern for the master, the curse will not activate. After all that spicy stuff, Basara and Mio head to school while Marie, with her fake ID, stays outside keeping watch for some other demons that might try to attack. If things weren't spicy already, Basara encounters one of his old friends, Yuuki, in his new school. The girl obviously has a crush on Basara, but in classic anime MC fashion, he has no idea about it. But Mio knows as soon as she sees her, and boy is she jealous of the two's relationship. She even jumps in between them to try and snatch Basara away. Almost immediately, Basara is an enemy of all the boys for hoarding, not one, but two pretty girls at once. By the end of their class, Mio is a bit distant from Basara because she is pissed at him for getting close to another girl after doing all those sussy things to her the day before. But their conversation is cut midway when Yuuki appears once more and takes Basara away to talk with him in private. In a restaurant, Yuuki tells Basara that she was sent by the Hero clan to keep Mio and Marie under observation and probably would have to kill Mio if the orders from the village are likewise. She advises Basara to stay away from the girl as she is attracting a lot of demons because of her presence. She knows that Basara can no longer use his powers as he used to before, and if stronger demons come, he might not be able to defeat them. However, Basara is adamant that he wants to protect his family and sisters regardless of the risk to his life. Unknown to Basara and Yuuki, Mio and Marie are listening to all this and are very pleased with their brother and decide to give him a present. When Basara gets back home, the two girls pretty much force him into taking a bath with them. They do not care that they are brother and sister and do some really sussy things while in the bath. Things that we cannot show on the screen. The two girls go on an abusive rampage and pretty much make Basara their pet during the bath until he snaps and then puts out all his anger onto them in a really, really sexual way. Those girls are your sisters, dude! Thank God everything was just a dream. At least him abusing his sisters was, and Basara wakes up in his bed next to Marie with his hands inside her pants. Yep, that just happened, but let's not talk about it. The next day in class, once more the servant curse activates and puts Mio in a really uncomfortable condition, so Basara takes her to the nurse's office. While she rests there after getting checked by the nurse, Basara heads down to grab a drink with his other and only friend, Hasegawa. Just then, however, a horde of monsters attacks the school. With no other choice, Basara knocks his friend out and beats the monster pretty easily, and races to check if his sister was okay. Mio, on the other hand, is taken to the roof of the building by Yuuki, and the girl tells Mio to stay away from Basara. She explains that Basara is weak when it comes to heroes and can't even control his powers, so he can barely protect himself. He had been working with Marie every day to kill monsters coming for her and can only keep up for so long. Mio is shocked to hear all this and feels like she is the issue of everyone's lives. Just as Basara arrives at the place and tries to explain, a new demon who looks much tougher arrives at the scene. The guy explains that he will give Mio a chance to come back and surrender herself to the current acting demon lord and let her friend survive, or else everyone would die. Marie, Yuuki, and even Basara try to attack the guy, but he is just too good for them now. He stands nearby, barely breaking a sweat. He then summons a demon to attack Mio and Basara, fearing that he might hurt Mio while attacking the demon, throws himself before the demon's blade and hurts himself in the process. The demon once again reminds her what her actions look like, and with these words, the guy vanishes away. Ridden with guilt, Mio decides that it's best she submit herself to the demons. She heads into the forest and meets up with the same demon from before. At first, she decides to battle the demon just to see if she could beat him before she submitted herself. However, it doesn't even take her a few minutes to realize that she was not even strong enough to make the guy sweat. Realizing that this was it, she submits herself and is about to be taken to the demon realm when suddenly Yuuki arrives and stops the two. She starts attacking the demon left and right, striking it until the point she breaks her armor. Yuuki was tough, and the demon acknowledges it, but he was yet to show his real skills. The guy then goes on the offensive, and despite there being two girls, he overpowers them easily, until, well, our hero shows up. Basara, who has healed pretty quickly considering his past injuries, approaches them and blocks off the demon's attack, and then starts attacking him. Soon, the demon seems to be defeated and runs away, but just as he does, the cheeky guy leaves the demon behind to attack Basara. The demon does exactly as it was commanded and puts a blade through the back of Basara in front of Mio. As the guy falls down, Mio goes into a fit of rage, and it appears she is starting to gain her Demon Lord powers and would probably end the world with it. However, Basara wakes up and uses his sword, despite him not being able to control it, and tries to negate the Demon Lord's power. And he pulls it off. Basara controls his powers, for the first time ever. The next day, and yes, Basara has healed because he's just built different, the guy goes to meet up with his friend Hasegawa, whom he had suspected for quite some time of being a demon. Turns out he was the same guy that attacked them, the masked demon, and he comes clean about it as well. Basara proposes that he continue being the demon's observer and observe Mio and not report that Mio had awakened her powers somewhat. In return, he would not spill about Hasegawa's absolute thrashing last night to the acting Demon Lord. Hasegawa reluctantly agrees to the plan, but warns him that reinforcements will soon come, and if that happens, he cannot follow the plan. In the end, the man also reveals that a demon named Zolgia was the one who had assassinated Mio's parents, and he was the one bossing them around these days. In a flashback, it is shown that Basara had once saved the entire village from a rampaging hero using his negating powers, but in the process, he had ended up killing many of his own friends, which is why he and his father were banished from the village. That was 5 years ago, but now he was able to control his powers somehow, and that made him more secure. The next day, Basara meets up with Hasegawa once more, and they discuss the curse that was put on Mio and Basara, the Master and Servant Curse. Hasegawa explains that the more they exploit the curse, the more they would get powerful, meaning that a lot more sus material will be coming our way in the next few episodes. Link to part 2 will be on the pinned comment down below once it's up. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed the video to help the channel out. Thanks for watching!